Good morning. It is April 19th. This is Gil Daddy D, Mr. D, or just D. We are going to be going over the Global Labs patch notes that just released for Black Desert Online so we can kind of see what's coming up with the upcoming patches with NAEU. Thank you for watching my channel. I would love it if you subscribed or even liked. More importantly, I'm one of those weird people that I really like hearing from you. So feel free to comment on the video, go over anything I might have gotten wrong, go over anything I might have gotten right, add information. If I don't understand something going through these patch notes or if my translation's wrong, feel free to correct me. I love constructive criticism and I do my best to respond to each and every comment. So let's dive right in. On today's patch notes, I read through these a little bit earlier this morning. We have some PvE changes, we've got some PvP changes, we've got some tweaks for life skills, we've got some other things. We're going to start right off with the Musa. I currently use my Musa to grind for treasure pieces, like the map, the compass, things like that. So anything that changes the Musa with PvE, I will be happy or sad. Diving right in, it looks like most of the main skills are looking at a 10% reduction in PvE damage. Whee! Ugh, sucks. Also, a slight buff to PvP damage. So those of you who like to play Musa, like to go to RBF, like to do Node Wars, Siege Wars, you will see a slight, and I mean an ever so slight, we're talking like 2%, 3%, 4%, 2%, 4% increase in PvP. Overall, it looks like a 10% reduction in PvE damage on all the major skills. Yeah, which really hurts on like the flow Apache on 8,800 down to 8,000%. Yeah, so overall 10% reduction in PvE damage. I'm talking maybe a 1 or 2% increase in PvP damage, so it's a tweak. It's a little bit of a PvE nerf, but you know, I'll see. Luckily, I'm not grinding at some of the hardest spots in the game for the treasure pieces, so as far as Ninja and Kuno, looks like just a slight cooldown reduction, so nothing too big. And if you play these classes, feel free to pause the video and read through. I go through a general knowledge type thing for the average player. Maybe in the future I will dive specifically into classes that I know. I just feel that I'm not an expert at most of the classes, so if I start doing, nitpicking things, I'm going to get it wrong. So I'd rather just do a general overall, and then if you're interested, you can pause or dive into it if that's your main. Okay, let's talk about the ninja class. Um, let's see, better flow, uh, increased defense reduction. So when you hit somebody, you decrease their DP by 20. Attack speed gains are reduced. Cooldowns are reduced. Attack speed bonuses have been increased. PvE damage, huge increase. We're talking 20% increase in PvE damage. 10% reduction or nerf in PvP damage. Okay, so those of you who play the ninja, my guildies know what I call ninjas, but I hate them because they always jump out of nowhere and I can never see them to hit them and they kill me very quickly. So I know that there's PvP ninjas watching this and I know there's PvP ninjas out there. You're getting nerfed a bit. You're getting a 10% reduction in PvP damage and a 20% increase in PvE damage. If you play a ninja and you grind PvE, let me know. I've never took my ninja out to do PvE. I've very rarely played a ninja, so let me know how it does, how it ranks, if your clear speeds are similar to other classes, if it's squishy, or if it's got a little bit of a tank, or, use evasion as mitigation. Let me know. I would love to hear. Maybe I'll give it a try. Yeah, it looks like you're getting an overall huge increase to PvE damage. 20% is a lot. Other than that, attack speed bonus increase, cooldown decrease. Going on to the Kuno. Kuno. Cooldowns are increased. PvE damage is increased by approximately 10%. PvP damage is a mixed bag. Increase and decrease a little bit. So Kuno's getting a bit of a tweak. Not a huge haircut, just, maybe a little off the top, maybe a little floof. That's about it. Striker. Striker, I have spent a lot of time grinding on a Striker and playing with a Striker. Looks like just general maintenance on some of the skills. Also, getting about a 10% increase in PvE damage, but a 10% decrease in PvP damage. So more PvE, less PvP. See if that carries through. Yeah, it looks like overall 10% up on PvE, 10% down. Maybe some more than 10%. We're going from 59 to 72 and 60 to 75 PvP damage reduction. Yeah, so Striker's getting a little bit of a PvP nerf. When we get down to the Mystic's also getting some changes too. Oh, 49 to 67, 63 to 70. Yeah, okay, so if you play a Striker in PvP, and I know you do, there are some people that do, you're going to be hitting quite a bit less. Mystic. More self-heals, a little bit more cooldowns, less cooldowns on Pardon, less cooldowns on Weather. We're talking like 1 or 2 seconds, so it's not a huge deal. Increase in PvE damage, a further decrease in PvP damage. I mean, those of you who play Mystic, I would love to hear from you. 81% damage reduction in PvP feels punitive. Like, there's somebody at Pearl Abyss that's just like, you know what? I got killed by this Mystic one time when grinding. And after 4 years of therapy bills and coping with Ben & Jerry's and watching shows that nobody should watch on TV over and over on repeat, I'm still bitter about it. And the Mystic needs to just not hit people. Either that, or whoever coded the Mystic said this is going to be the goddess of the game, and coded the Mystic in such a way that they have to just nerf her 80%, over 80% damage reduction in PvP to make her even compatible with the other classes. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you play a Mystic, you know, we need to find the person who has the little Mystic doll and to point on the doll where people hurt her or him and figure out what's going on here. Yeah, okay, great. You get a 20% increase, 10% increase in PvE. Mystic does pretty well in PvE already, but like, goodness, just damage reduction in PvP 81%. That just smacks of somebody hates Mystics. And maybe even with an 81% reduction, you guys still hit like a truck. I don't know. I really, as a DK main, when I go into RBF and stuff, usually I die so quickly that I don't even know what class killed me. And half the time I can't even see the freaking classes on the screen. They're just invisible and I just die, and then I'm frustrated at what just happened. I assume it's a ninja. I go on my Discord and bitch about ninjas for about 20 minutes, and then I go back to RBF and try it again. So if you do play a Mystic, let me know if that 81% reduction really does feel like an 81% reduction. I mean, at this point, it's the kind of number that looks like you're dragging around a boat anchor trying to evade things. So, continuing down the skill list, yep, 10%, between 10 and 20% increase in PvE damage. I mean, an overall, I'm going to say between 5 and 10% decrease in PvP damage. Like, goodness gracious. Who hurt you? Okay, moving on to Magoo. Showing my age, I always think of Mr. Magoo when I see this, so the Magoo is Mr. Magoo. Easier flows, reduction in PvE damage, increase in PvP damage. There we go. So Magoo, you're going to do a little, and I'm talking a little bit, like a 2% increase in PvP damage. 2%, 2%, 2%, 2%, yeah. So you're also looking at approximately a 10% reduction in PvE, I can speak. So those of you who play Magoo, slight changes. Let me know if that affects your overall clear speeds and your loot count at the end. I really don't have a reference on if 10% really means 10%. You know, do you see, like, if you're grinding 20,000 trash per hour, if that 10% reduces you to 15, that's going to stink. But just, let me know in the comments. Okay, moving on to content. Pearl Abyss is super happy that everybody's enjoying AFK fishing. I mean, we just go where the silver is, right, guys? Right, girls? Just saying. Weekly fishing contest. I know a lot of you are participating in this. Hopefully it's due to some part of my video. But the only reason I know that is because the amount of people on the rankings board. Oh my gosh, you know, I went from competing with about 100 other people for the top 100 slots for a prize to now there's like I'm ranked like 2,000. It's sick, which is great. You guys are all making AFK fishing money, but you know, get off the AFK, get on the game, do some group content. Just saying. Basically, what this is saying is it's reclassifying the fish and increasing the spots where we can catch fish. So they're changing it so that it's Lake Kamasilvia, Lake Grana, Lake Flandeur. If you're French, let me know how to pronounce the little apostrophe, Flandeur, whatever. But they're increasing blue and yellow fishes there, or allowing you to catch blue and yellow fish. They're also allowing you to catch blue and yellows in these places: Illidab, Medaya Coast, east coast of wherever Valeros is. That could be Valencia. Don't know. Balanos Coast, Coastal Cave, Sawsons, Papuas. Don't know where that is. Eastern Islands of Balanos. Also, they're changing the names of the fish. So here it is among the names given by fish grade, large fish species has been changed to advanced. And if we go up here, I think it set it up here somewhere. We're going to have to read. I know that's, oh, right here. Green grades are becoming common, so I think this means they're getting rid of the whitefish. There's a joke in there somewhere, but I'm not going to, no, okay. So they're getting rid of the whitefish. Greens are becoming common. Blues are becoming high-end. Oh, when you catch them, your pinky's up in the air. Yellow grades are rares, and red grades are treasured. So apparently that's going to say on the fish now somewhere. I wonder if this is also going to change the specialized fishing rods, like the Medaya fishing rod, the Kelphion fishing rod, the ones that say increase your chances to catch big fish, or increase your chances to catch rare fish. So we'll have to see if when they make these changes, if they remembered to change the floats and the fishing rods. I don't know. My money's on no, because feature, not a bug, all the time, but we'll see. The way Ataraxian or Zekia works has been improved. Even after the completion of the Ataraxian Ogre's record request, it was changed to enable the stopping of the coming connection. Okay. They're changing the names of our elixirs. I always struggle with the pronunciation of this one. If you get it, you get it. The elixir of Kalk is being changed to the fragrance of the Kalk. That's not going to become a meme. The elixir of the deep sea is going to become the fragrance of the deep sea. Spirit Perfume's Leap is going to be the elemental perfume. And then, I think that's supposed to say elixir. And then the fragrance of the spirit that holds the breath is being changed to the fragrance of the spirit that holds the fragrance of the spirit that holds. It's the same. Okay. Yep. So anyways, 3 of the 4 are changing. Fix the acquisition notification at the top of the screen to be displayed when you acquire. So if you do hunting and you get some of the like awesome stuffed stuff, the body stuff, the head stuff, the weasels, these things, you'll get the notification, hey, you received. So cool. I don't know if it'll be server wide, but you'll know it at least. Fix to avoid cheering behavior when acquired items below. Bags and muskins. Man, remember when those used to be top tier gear? Now you're not even going to cheer for them anymore. It's kind of sad. I mean, Muskins has always been the bottom of the pack when it comes to bosses, I guess. He keeps just going. Yeah, someone needs to get him in a struggle session with the Magus, or excuse me, the Mystics. We need to get Muskin and some Mystics in a struggle session here and just have a talk. Moving on. Monsters. Ataraxian or Zekia has been improved so that Al-Qaeda, I want to say Al-Qaeda. We'll say that. Al-Qaeda. Summoned during the defeat of the dead will be summoned more naturally. Okay. This one I don't understand. I think the translation's bad. I would love to hear from you guys. As the Ocean's Chief's Bell Church can no longer acquire high purity Blackstone items. So we got to figure out what the Ocean Chief is, or Bell Church. The Bell reward package. I wonder if this is Vel, and it's just a horrible translation, has been revamped. So let's just read it as Vel. if you guys know that the translation's bad, or if you have any information, feel free to correct. Based on the Vel reward package, it will be reorganized as follows. The amount of crystalline powder in the Vel has been increased. Okay, so that would be Vel's powder. The amount of coral flakes has been increased. The probability of gold bars has been increased, and it has been changed to allow you to earn Blackstone of Waves. Okay, instead of just regular Blackstones. Okay, so I'm going to assume that maybe is Vel. I don't know. Maybe the Korean word for Vel is Bell Church? Don't know. But we're going to just read it as Vel, and I think I'm pretty much accurate on that. Requests and knowledge. The contents of the Descendants knowledge has been partially modified. Additional NPCs have been deployed to the paradise of Ataraxian. When you kill the Chicharron leg, it has been improved. I bet you that is Offentat. It has been improved to allow you to acquire knowledge about the Chicharron and the Chicharron Bridge. Maybe I'm wrong. Odalita, this has been improved so that you can find your way when you make a request for a fragmented... Okay. Background NPC effect cutscene. In the first video production that is exposed, after creating a character, pressing escape has been changed to move to the character selection window. Okay. Node Wars and Siege Wars. Added a UI to check the results of the main battle. At the end of the base occupation battle, the results screen will be automatically displayed to the adventurers who participated. Okay. Look at that. 5 billion silver. Oh my. I don't like the 5 billion silver. In the Stronghold Occupation Status tab of the guild menu, you can check the results of the Stronghold battle you participated in. Okay. I mean, if you participated, don't you think you'd know the results? But there are some people that like spreadsheets, so this will be perfect. Records can only be checked on the relevant server. If it's in progress, you can't do. Information about the heroes in the battle is not recorded. The record of the main battle is recorded up to the most recent 30 times. You can only check the records within 90 days. Okay, so if you want to go back, and wonder if this is going to be like, eventually they'll have a replay of the battle, so those, PvP people who run the show can come back and say, sit in a dark room with everybody in their Discord and just, why do you go this way? You should do that, and just browbeat everybody on why they lost. Actually, that would probably be interesting. Anyways, during the main occupation battle, the locations of all members of the Federation Guild participating in the world map has been added to show the location. So you're going to be able to see if, like, one of your teammates was just lurking over the corner secretly gathering or something. UI, the ability to search for multiple items at once. Okay, yep, so I read through this. Long story short, use a semicolon, and you can search for multiple items at a time in your find items. So if you're looking for... I don't know the relevance of this. I don't know if this was high in demand. Very often when I'm searching... the only time I could see when this would be relevant for me is if I have to cook some random item, and I don't usually cook that random item, and I have to check for all of the ingredients. I could type all of the ingredients and separate them with semicolons, and it would display all of those ingredients. Alchemy the same way. Other than that, this is a quality of life for somebody. Also, this will allow you to move your characters easier. I think this is a click and drag thing where you can change the order of your characters. That's the way it looks. So, if you've been looking for that, cool. If you have a return and rental button in a conversation with NPCs, it's been improved to be exposed at the bottom of the list. Cool. Those of you with fences and other things. And, speaking of rental items, if you don't know about it, in the game from the storage keepers, you can rent a storage box. And if you're unfamiliar with this item, you rent it. I think it's 10 CP. Correct me if I'm wrong. You could put it in your residence in a manor or whatever, and it allows you to access the storage like a storage keeper. So you don't have to keep running back and forth to the storage keeper. Like, for instance, in my manor, I have a storage box right next to my alchemy and cooking tool, so that I can, and when you open it, it's not just that town storage, it's all of your storage you can grab stuff from. So if you haven't gotten that, that's a really, really good quality of life thing, that if you do cooking, if you do alchemy, if you do anything in your house, get that. It just, even if you just role play and you want to, like, live in your house and, get stuff in and out of it, the storage box or the storage container is a wonderful thing to get. But that is a rental item, so. Game settings, screen settings. The effect transparency setting in the effects menu has been improved to make more intuitive understanding. Okay. The location of the weekly fishing competition banner in the Fish docuseries has changed. Now, I did notice today, when you hit escape in-game and go to the fishing guide, no, back that up. When you equip your fishing rod, or you have it equipped from AFK Fishing, on the top middle of your screen, you're going to see a blue icon on the left if you've set a new personal record for fish. And I clicked on that, and it's like, hey, you've caught some green fish that was bigger than a green fish you caught before. Yay, okay. But I really like that, because now I would really super like it if they added the actual size of the fish onto the fish. So when you hovered over the fish, it said this fish is this size. That would be fantastic. But for now, baby steps, baby steps. This will at least say if overnight if you set a new personal best. But this has added the knowledge image of the following fish species without the knowledge image in the fish trap. Okay, so now you can get knowledge on these fish. System, improves speed when closing the world map. Didn't know that was a problem, but okay. Web updates. Official website. Adventurer profiles menu will be revamped. You can find additional information such as the maximum damage, plus the defense total of the characters in the family, the footsteps of the last 30 days of the adventure, and the proficiency of each area of life. Okay, so what you've done over the last 30 days. I can actually see this as and I know I'm looking at this through the lens of a guild master or a guild boss or a guild daddy. But if a person comes in and they said, hey, I want to be recruited, what have you done in the last 30 days? Or send me a screenshot of this so I could see in a nutshell whether you're a life skiller, if you're a grinder, if you're a PvPer, if you've jumped guilds, 27 times in 30 days, whatever. So this actually is beneficial to guild bosses, guild daddies. But also, I mean, you know what you've done. Unless you want to get super nitpicky and micromanage your alts, this is just, this information can be helpful. And I'm glad that they have people at Pearl Abyss that are thinking in this direction, because ultimately it means they're micromanaging everything in the game, which means they haven't given up. So that's good. But as a guild daddy, I see this as beneficial, but you may or may not as a player. Official website. You can check the basic information of one family. You can check out the footsteps of the last 30 days of an adventurer. You can also check the footsteps of the in-game information. You can check the level and proficiency of the life level. You can also check out the characters in 4 family members. You could choose, okay, so you can set it to private or not. If you don't want people to be able to see your last 30 days and stuff, you can set it to private. When applying the adventure profile revision update, if all existing additional information disclosure settings are released, then they'll automatically, so they're going to carry over if you've got it set to private or public. When creating an initial family, the setting of the disclosure will be applied in accordance with the policies of each region. Okay, so yeah, just be aware that people will know about you if you don't put it to private. Fixed a phenomenon in which the sound was already heard, even if the surrounding sound settings were turned off. I've had that, where I had it all muted and I was hearing something in the background of my headset, and I'm like, what is that? And it was Black Desert, so hey, that's going to be fixed. Fixed an issue where the button in the bag eye window was superimposed. In the second round of occupation was carried out with regular inspection. The phenomenon of did not appear. Okay. When opening the Velk's Advice plus 100 box, received as a repeat season, was possible to acquire the. Oh wow. Okay, so apparently when some of you opened up the Advice of Velk's plus 100 box from Seasons, some of you got a Vel's Heart? Okay, so if you got the Vel's Heart and kept it quiet, they're taking it back, or they're taking the amount of silver from you. So, yeah, rip to your account if you, I mean, that's like, what, 15 billion, 20 billion silver? If you just spent it and just went out with, sailors and adult entertainers and just went out and blew 20 billion, well, When this patch goes live on NA, you're going to be out that money, just FYI. When you're in the waiting time to change title after applying to title, changing the title category has been changed so you don't get a message about the cooldown, okay? After casting the fishing rod, the appearance of the steam type was not reflected. The appearance of the water type? Bad translation, I apologize. Since the completion of the main request, it has been corrected that it was not possible to attain certain knowledge from the... Okay. Wusa. Ataraxian Deeper fixed awkward movement of certain NPCs. Fixed the phenomenon in which some reinforcement failures were exposed excessively short. The awkward expression in the knowledge content of some fish species has been corrected. Fix a phenomenon when the resurgence of the character and certainly did not disappear. And if the title of term system had expired during the main battle, the counting, such as the number of enemy guild members to win the title, has been reset. Okay, so big changes there. If you got a Vel's Heart from the Advice of Velk's box, you're losing it. And yeah, that's pretty much the changes here. If you have any questions, if I got anything wrong, if you don't like the way I explain something, by all means, throw me a comment. I will either correct it or I'll make sure I don't do it again in the future. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to continually do, in perpetuity, updates on the patch notes for Global Notes. If anything changes off the Global Labs patch notes when they go live on NAEU, I will post a video about the changes. Every day I am posting content about a how-to, tips and tricks, things that I've picked up over the years in the game, content that some people might not know, some people might know. I'm going to be updating videos every week on the fishing guide, where locations and this and that. So I will be posting content at least 3 to 5 times a week. I'm going to try to do more, but you know, sometimes you think you know, or you know something, but you don't know, it's not common knowledge. So I'm kind of just diving into my own head here and saying, okay, what should people know? So Black Desert Online, as well as other games that I play, I will be posting videos. So yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, by all means comment. Make sure to like the video. I do pay attention to that. One of my first videos got a pretty, it actually got a few thumbs down, and I'm like, why? So I looked into that and I kind of tweaked things. So I am paying attention, and I really do appreciate constructive criticism. So like, subscribe, message me on Discord. It's down in the bottom left. And if I got anything wrong, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much.